A reading from Luke chapter 16. Jesus also said to the disciples, "There was a rich man who had a manager, and charges were brought to him that this man was wasting his possessions. And he called him and said to him, 'What is this that I hear about you? Turn in the account of your management, for you can no longer be manager.' And the manager said to himself, 'What shall I do, since my master is taking the management away from me? I'm not strong enough to dig, and I'm ashamed to beg. I've decided what to do, so that when I'm removed from management, people may receive me into their houses.' So, summoning his master's debtors one by one, he said to the first, 'How much do you owe my master?' He said, 100 measures of oil. He said to him, 'Take your bill and sit down quickly and write 50. Then he said to another, 'And how much do you owe?' He said, 100 measures of wheat. He said to him, 'Take your bill and write 80. The master commended the dishonest manager for his shrewdness. For the sons of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than the sons of light. And I tell you, make friends for yourself by means of unrighteous wealth, so that when it fails, they may receive you into the eternal dwellings. One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much, and one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. If then you have not been faithful in the unrighteous wealth, who will entrust to you the true riches? And if you've not been faithful in that which is another's, who will give you that which is your own? No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and money." This passage often causes quite a bit of comment because it looks as if, when you read it through, Jesus is praising dishonesty, praising this dishonest manager. And you can see why. The story is quite straightforward. There's a manager who's been wasting his master's money and he's been called to account. He's concerned about what will happen. He knows he'll be dismissed. And so he uses some money, some of his master's money, it would appear, to buy the friendship of other people, so that when he is thrown out onto the streets, they might take him in. And Jesus commends this. Why? Well, I think the background here is important, because a Jew was not supposed to charge another Jew interest. That's quite clear in the Old Testament. And so what would often happen to try and get around that is if you lent somebody money, you would charge them a fee instead. And this, it would appear, is what the steward is doing. So when he's saying, make it 80 and other things like that, what would be happening here is he's waiving that extra fee. Now, the master can't really complain about this because really the fee shouldn't be charged at all. And it may well be, of course, that the master didn't even know that the fee was being charged. It might simply be that that was a manager on the take. What Jesus is saying here is, look, we have money, we have unrighteous mammon, as Jesus calls it elsewhere, or unrighteous wealth. And even those who themselves are unrighteous are willing to use their money to buy some sort of favour from other people. Well, we too have money. We are stewards of that which God has given us. Are we willing to use that money to bless other people and so serve God in the way that even this unrighteous manager was willing to, quotes, bless other people to save his own hide? What Jesus is saying here, even unrighteous people are willing to use money to further their own purposes. How much more should not we, who are merely stewards of all that God has given us, use the money we have to bless other people, to clothe the naked, to feed the poor? In the end, the point of this parable is not that we should be dishonest, but rather that we should be willing to put money to the use of the kingdom of God. And then we will be storing up treasures in heaven, as Jesus says elsewhere. So the point is, are you serving God or are you serving money? Because in the end, as Jesus clearly says here, you can't serve both.